the day tonight today with a very important story that I felt should be the one I should lead with. And a story of two superstars, Mohanlal and Mammootty. Ideally should have been heartwarming, unfortunately has turned into an unneeded controversy. So a heartfelt gesture between two of Malayalam superstars has snowballed into this controversy. I'm going to really explain that for you. When I did read about Mohanlal, who's a devout Hindu, praying at the Sabarimala for his very dear friend, Mammootty, who's a practicing Muslim, there were unofficial reports that came in that Mammootty is unwell, in fact some suggesting that he could have cancer too. But of course his team has denied it, saying that he's going to be back to shoot right after Ramzan. Nonetheless, Mohanlal decided to pray for him at the Sabarimala temple. It was just seen as a very sincere gesture for a friend doing what he should do for another friend. This is truly the moment that reflects India's Ganga Jamuna Tehzeeb. But even before that sentiment could fully sink in, controversy is now reared in the most unexpected way. Here's what happened. On March 18th, Mohanlal visited the Sabarimala temple, performed a special Usha puja for Mammootty. The receipt of that puja offering soon surfaced online, and that leaked document had Mammootty's name mentioned on it. Mammootty's birth name that had Muhammad Kutti, that was very clearly mentioned on it, which eventually led to backlash from several quarters, critiques questioning whether it was appropriate for a Hindu ritual to be conducted on a Muslim. What truly escalated matters here was a comment from journalist and political analyst O. Abdullah, who labelled Mohanlal's gesture for Mammootty as great crime against Islam. In an audio message, Abdullah says that this is not right, this does not happen in Islam, and Mohanlal should apologize, and Mammootty should come out and clarify his stance, whether he appreciates something like this. Awful. Mohanlal, while promoting his film, has very gracefully reacted to all these claims and rumors that are doing the round about this communal backlash that's now brewing. Here's exactly what he said in the most graceful manner.
அதுக்கு சொல்லணும் சபரிமலை போய் நான் அவருக்கு வேண்டிட்டு we did a puja. அது அந்த தேவசம் போர்டில் somebody leaked that receipt to the press. அது எதுக்கு சொல்லணும்? It's all very personal இல்லையா? If I pray for you சொன்னால் you must pray இல்லையா? ஸோ அது மாதிரி என்னோட ஃப்ரெண்ட் அவர், என்னோட ஒரு பிரதர். ஸோ இட்ஸ் நத்திங் ராங், ஹீ இஸ் ஃபைன். அவ்வளோ திஸ் இஸ் அவருக்கு என்னமோ ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் இருந்தது, எல்லாருக்கும் இருக்கும், அது மாதிரி தான். nothing to worry. Okay.
Now, following the controversy, Mohanlal has alleged that someone from Sabarimala temple and the board of that temple trust may have leaked the puja receipt, which added a lot more fuel to the fire. Though Travancore Devaswam has denied any leak here, saying that the temple trust only gets a counterfoil that's retained finally. The temple is not responsible for the name going out, and Mohanlal may have misunderstood. This is what they say, hoping that Mohanlal retracts his statement. Now, at its heart here, this wasn't about religion at all. It was about friendship, love, a quiet prayer. In times like these, when outrage comes easy, empathy feels rare. Mohanlal's gesture should have really been celebrated, not scrutinized and criticized. Praying for a friend, if that becomes controversial, perhaps it's not faith that we need to question here, it's ourselves. And tonight, this is my next story of prejudice. This time against a woman at a very top level officer. Kerala's bureaucracy has this lady sitting right there, Sarada Muraleedharan, a top officer. She's the Chief Secretary, a trailblazer. And in fact, she seems to be fighting something she doesn't need to. She's challenging deep-rooted racism, gender bias that still unfortunately shapes women in India, maybe in different parts of the world, but let's be specific to our country. Women in power are often criticized for their skin color, for their gender, and a lot more. And this woman here, a powerful woman, Kerala's Chief Secretary, in a post on Facebook, has slammed some shocking comments that's come her way comparing her tenure to that of her professor and husband V. Venu. Her husband also was, in fact, holding the same position previously, and the comments are awful. One of that read, I'm going to read that out. His tenure was white, while hers is black, basically referring to her skin color. The statement, of course, dripping with prejudice there, not just about her skin color, but also that undertone of patriarchy. It screams loud here. Sarada did not stay silent. She was determined to speak up, and which is why she's put up that long post there. She, of course, refuses to talk to the media. She's a government official, so therefore she refrains from it. But we are here to hail her, to give her all that encouragement that we should. In fact, we don't need to, but we are. She spoke of how this growing conditioning around her family itself has shaped her lives through the years. She says, I've been fighting and battling this from the time I was a child. I used to request my mother to put me back into her womb so that I can come back being born fair the next time. And she says in that post, for over 50 years, I lived under the narrative of not being good enough, of admiring fairness, feeling lesser for not having it. And she says that she finally learned from her own children. She embraced their black heritage with so much pride, and they taught her to accept herself. So she's now come about to put this long post, and I'm going to read another excerpt for you here, which is so touching and for all of you to take note of. She says, but why should black be vilified? Black is all pervasive truth of the universe. Black is that which can absorb anything. It's the most powerful pulse of energy known to humankind. It's the color that works on everyone, the dress code for office, the luster for evening wear, the essence for kajal, the promise of rain. Beautiful, beautifully written post that's now gone viral that draws immense praise, admiration, and also sparking a nationwide conversation around skin color. Her experience is not isolated. This, of course, mirrors the many in India. Ideally, we are brown skin toned, but look at the bias here we have within our own. In fact, women in power particularly are targeted, not just for their skin color, but for their gender. This woman raises her head and she's being outrightly clear here. And this is the kind of leadership we are hoping to look forward to, the one with clarity and not about color.
It was a comment that was made perhaps from a sense of, or from a position of humor. But the thing is, behind the humor, there is a entire value connotation, and the connotation is that because it is black, it is not good. That there was something wrong with it. The reason that you brought that black in is because my skin is dark, on the one hand, and then it goes beyond that to imply that that blackness is not good quality. Both of these are actually cultural constructs that need to be challenged.
All right, let me cut to our Tamil Nadu story with the AIADMK and the BJP all likely set to come back into an alliance. Now, this is, of course, rumors that's triggered a surprising meeting that happened in Delhi between the AIADMK General Secretary Edappadi Palaniswamy and Union Home Minister Amit Shah has sparked fresh buzz about a possible BJP-AIADMK reunion right ahead of the 2026 Tamil Nadu Assembly polls. While EPS insists that the meeting was about public concerns like the TASMAC liquor scam, women's safety, drug menace and Manrega funds, political subtext, of course, is hard for us to miss here. He denies it, but it's quite evident. EPS is keen to reclaim relevance and position himself as the Chief Minister face. But will the BJP, especially its fiery state chief, Annamalai, play second fiddle? That's the big question here. Sources say that EPS has laid down key conditions for returning to the NDA. He must lead the alliance in Tamil Nadu. A high-powered coordination panel must be formed, one that outranks Annamalai. The BJP must sever ties with AIADMK rebels like TTV Dinakaran and O. Pannirselvam. So these are more or less the conditions we hear he's being placed. Nothing has come out official, but these are reports coming from our trusted sources. Now, it's noteworthy to have a look here of how Annamalai was the one who carried out unrelenting attacks at the AIDMK leaders, and that was what led to that alliance breakup in 2023. And Annamalai is literally the BJP's front man. But it seems like the two parties are trying to reconcile. Political math is quite clear. For BJP to grow in Tamil Nadu, AIADMK is a necessary ally. Sources do indicate Amit Shah has given a green light in principle for this alliance. The finer details yet to be worked out. Now in Karnataka, it seems like the BJP is serious. No comments that are made against the party will be encouraged. So a day after, 5 of the Karnataka BJP leaders have sent show cause notice for speaking against the party. Here you have the biggest rebel of them all, BJP MLA, Basangaud Yatnal, who's been suspended or expelled rather from the party for 6 years. This is a major crackdown on dissent. The BJP has expelled MLA Basangauda Patil Yatnal for 6 years for indiscipline. Central leadership of the party has they claim that he's consistently defied the party line. Despite repeated warnings and assurances, he still continues to shame the party publicly. So therefore, he's been removed now from all party positions. Remember, Yatnal has been openly targeting the BJP state president B.Y. Vijendra and veteran leader B.S. Yediyurappa. Basically, he's constantly called out dynasty politics within the BJP. And here is Yatnal who says, well, I got axed for calling a spade a spade. Basically says that because I raised questions on dynasty politics within the party, this is the punishment I get. Yatnal has responded in that quote on his X platform. That's what he says. The party has rewarded me for calling a spade a spade. Certain vested interests have played their part in furthering their agenda successfully. The decision to suspend me will not deter my fight against corruption, family politics, development of North Karnataka and Hindutva. I will continue to serve my people with the same vigor and tenacity. Yatnal's response there. B.Y. Vijendra, who Yatnal claims to be the man behind this, he says in his X platform, calling this expulsion of Yatnal as inevitable. Vijendra has posted on his platform, says this was bound to happen. Now, this action has triggered some backlash as well. Supporters of Yatnal are now protesting. BJP City OBC Morcha Vice President Bhimu Mashyal has resigned along with City Mandal President Hugar. Now, remember, these are faces that we're showing you on our screens here, some of the top MLAs of the BJP, some former MLAs, who have been, literally warned for not in future making comments against the party. They've been given a show cause notice for, again, comments that they've made in the past. Katta Subramanya Naidu, Redukacharya, Harish and Shivram Hebbar along with S.T. Somshekar. All of them have been asked to keep their matters internally and not speak in public. The BJP seems to be sending out a clear message. No indiscipline will be tolerated.
ಶ್ರೀಯುತ ಅಟಲ್ ಬಿಹಾರಿ ವಾಜಪೇಯಿಯವರ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಆಡ್ವಾಣಿಯವರ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪನವರ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಹ್ಲಾದ್ ಜೋಶಿಯವರ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಜಗದೀಶ್ ಶೆಟ್ಟರ್ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಪಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಜುಗರ ಆಗೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ತಿಸ್ಕೊಂಬಂದು 3 ಬಾರಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಶಿಸ್ತು ಸಮಿತಿ ನೋಟಿಸನ್ನು ಸಹ ಕೊಡ್ತು. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಅವರು ಸುಧಾರಣೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ತಮ್ಮ ತಪ್ಪನ್ನು ತಿದ್ದುಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆದರೆ ತಪ್ಪನ್ನು ತಿದ್ದುಕೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವತ್ತು ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ಶಿಸ್ತು ಸಮಿತಿ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಬಸನಗೌಡ ಪಾಟೀಲ್ ಯತ್ನಾಳ್ರವರನ್ನ 6 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಕಾಲ ಉಚ್ಚಾಟನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ.
All right, we see the Karnataka Food Department seems to be doing a damn good job. They've been cracking down on any unhygienic conditions across hotels in the state. And in the latest crackdown that they are carrying out statewide since March 12th, officials have inspected 479 hotels and restaurants, checking for pest control violations, including rats and cockroaches inside restaurants. And they've been fined. 174 hotels have been found violating hygiene standards. That's led to notices and fines that have been issued. Authorities have collected 62,000 rupees in penalties from these restaurants. In fact, the inspection that still continues, they determined to ensure safety of food and to be made in hygienic conditions. All of this comes under Dinesh Gundurao, the Karnataka Health Minister, and they seem to be going on a continued crackdown spree across hotels and restaurants on different aspects of food like paneer, ice cream, gobi manchuri color, momos, whatnot. So a damn good job that the food department officials are doing. Now, if you're out and about in Bengaluru, be careful. You might just stumble on a bag of garbage. Watch your step. In fact, waste collection across the city of Bengaluru is currently come to a grinding halt. Thousands of contract workers from Bangalore Solid Waste Management Limited have launched an indefinite protest. So they may not just be picking your garbage from outside your home. These are sanitation workers who do exactly that job. Many of them who've gathered at the Freedom Park earlier today, nearly 10,000 of them, they demanded job regularization and job security. They're currently hired through contractors, and that means they claim that there's no job security, there's no any added benefits, and they do the dirty job, but they've got nothing in return. Protesters claim Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar had assured them action 4 months ago, but nothing has moved since then. They demand now, one is absorption of these workers into the BBMP's Solid Waste Management Division as permanent staff, or at the very least, their direct payroll comes under the ruling government. The timing, of course, is worse here. Bengaluru generates 6,000 metric tons of waste every day, and that includes 3,000 plus tons of wet waste, 1,900 tons of dry waste, and an additional 4,750 tons of construction and demolition debris. And that mountain of garbage is expected to only double by 2031. Today's protest triggered heavy police presence at the BBMP head office. Several agitators were detained as well, and they were taken away from Freedom Park so that the situation wouldn't flare up. For now, the strike continues. So does the stink in Bengaluru.
The garbage crisis of Bengaluru is going to heat up in the coming days because the Paura Karmikaras and their leaders have decided to protest. The reason why they are protesting is because they say that they have not been provided with proper jobs. These are the people who make sure that the city is clean. From your houses, if the garbage is picked up, it's picked up by the Paura Karmikaras over here, and their demand is that there should be given proper jobs. There should be given proper sanitation equipments, and salaries also should be made sure are to the par where they are able to take care of their family. They have decided to make sure that they protest again. So from tomorrow onwards, they will be protesting, and they want that the budget session should not be initiated for the BBMP till their issue is solved.
Shifting our focus to Telangana, very tragic, and this time yet again it seems like poor quality construction material has led to the collapse of a building that's killed 6 individuals. This collapse happened in Bhadrachalam in Telangana. Visuals show horrifying sight, floor slabs all pancaked over one another, with rescue teams racing against time to pull down and rescue those who may be trapped underneath. Bulldozers and heavy machines are being used to clear the rubble. Questions already piling. Who approved this structure in the first place? If this was poor quality construction, what were the officials who were carrying out audits doing? Where are their quality checks? In fact, these officers are equally responsible as much as the builder himself. Accountability must be put in place, and hopefully a precedence is set. But that's very tragic. 6 people have died. Let's just hope authorities are able to pull out those bodies through that debris in time. The families are aggrieved. And finally, a case has been registered against this self-styled godman, Pastor Bajinder Singh. He was caught on camera almost beating up and throwing books and whatnot at his own employees. He was seen assaulting a woman and a man. In fact, the CCTV footage is damning. He's seen throwing papers. That's the image there where he's seen brazenly throwing papers, slapping the woman, and that woman's child who's on her lap literally watching him. That's the pastor. He calls himself a God man, a man who can heal, who can bring the dead back to life. This is the man who's got scores of followers. Shocking that cops waited this long to file a case. After massive outrage, a case has finally been filed, and that girl, 35-year-old woman, has finally lodged a complaint with the SSP police. Now, they've registered a case under several sections of the BNS. Let's have a look what she has to say.
एक हमारा बच्चा प्ले टावर में काम करता था, उसकी सिस्टर को लेकर बात हो रही थी बार बार। तो जब उसने चर्च में लाने से रोका तो उस बच्चे के ऊपर मारपीट हो रही थी। काफी दिनों से वो परेशान हो रहा था बच्चा। तो जब हम बैठे थे वो बात हो रही थी, क्योंकि एक प्रॉफिट जी को गुस्सा आया तो उन्होंने वहां से फोन मोबाइल लिया और उसके मुंह पे फेंक के मारा। तो जब वो ऐसा किया तो मैंने उनके लिए बोला कि ऐसे मत करो, प्लीज आप मुंह से बात करो, जो भी आप बात कर रहे हो। तो उन्होंने मेरा गला पकड़ लिया, मेरा गला दबा दिया, मेरे मुंह पे थप्पड़ मारा और मुझे मुंह पे मुक्का मार के मुझे पीछे को किया उन्होंने। तो उसके बाद वो लड़का बोलने लगा कि पास्टर जी के साथ ऐसा मत करो, क्योंकि पास्टर जी ने कुछ नहीं किया। तो उन्होंने उस बच्चे को इतनी तरह जानवरों की तरह मारना शुरू कर दिया।
उन्होंने कुछ नहीं, उन्होंने मेरी पहले पूरी बात सुनी, समझी, जानी और जो कुछ चीज़ें थी सारी उन्होंने देखी। और जो पुलिस प्रशासन भी आया हुआ था उनसे भी उन्होंने बात करी, उनसे भी सारी चीज़ें जानी कि क्या उन्होंने इन्वेस्टिगेशन करी है क्या नहीं। और उन्होंने यही हमें कहा है, सहयोग दिया है कि आप चिंता ना करें, हमसे जो हम लीगली एक्शन होगा हम लेंगे और हम आपके साथ हैं।
इस मामले में जैसे आपने देखा है कि जो लड़की है रंजीत कौर और उसके साथ और भी 3-4 लोग हैं, तो इन्होंने बताया है कि उनकी जो है इनकी जो संस्था है वहाँ पे प्रेयर के बाद उसके साथ अभद्र व्यवहार हुआ है, जिसमें उसके साथ मारपीट की गई है और उसको और जो भी है उसके रिगार्डिंग उसने कंप्लेंट दी है, जिसमें उसे बुलाया गया था और उसकी स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड की गई है और उसकी स्टेटमेंट के बेस पे जो बनती होगी कार्रवाई वो की जाएगी।
Now, this isn't the first time Bajinder Singh has been in the eye of the storm. He is known for his dramatic Yeshu Yeshu sermons and miracle claims. Those are the visuals I'm playing out for you, where he claims he can cure people's diseases, bring back the dead to life and whatnot. He was, in fact, days ago itself, accused of sexual harassment on a 22-year-old girl, of stalking and criminal intimidation. In 2018, he was arrested briefly for alleged rape of a girl who he promised to take abroad. Now, his churches in Jalandhar and Mohali are under radar for financial irregularities. The income tax department is also probing them. His so-called healing services have been accused of looting desperate families with fake promises of curing diseases. Now, in one shocking case, we hear that he took money allegedly from a family, convinced them to convert into Christianity, and promised that he would cure their daughter of cancer. That girl unfortunately died. Now, that's not something that the family did not know, that this man very well was trying to convert them, but they were so desperate, wanting their daughter to get better, that they literally succumbed to what he said, gave all that money that they had in hope that he may have some powers to bring her back. Imagine the circus still continues. Mehul Choksi. The man has surfaced in Belgium. There were reports that he was missing from Antigua, and it appears now a confirmation has come in that he's in Belgium. He's managed to use his own wife's citizenship there to move all the way. From Antigua to Belgium, fugitive diamantaire Mehul Choksi has moved countries with such stealth and ease, while ordinary people wait for years for a residency or a citizenship. Here's this man wanted in a 14,000 crore scam, securing Belgian residency, and with such ease. He's living with his wife, we hear, Preeti Choksi. Belgium's Federal Public Service Foreign Affairs has confirmed Choksi's presence and says that the case is being given great importance to, but has refused to comment on the matter further. They're basically looking very closely into his citizenship there or his residency that's being granted. Indian officials have reportedly asked Belgium to initiate an extradition process, but New Delhi is yet to confirm this entirely. Choksi, along with nephew Nirav Modi, remember, had carried out a massive Punjab National Bank fraud to the tune of 14,000 crores. Nirav Modi currently arrested in London. India is trying his extradition from there. And right now, we hear Delhi is trying for Mehul Choksi's from Belgium. Reports suggest that Mehul Choksi may have lied about his nationality, which is how he got Belgian residency so quickly. So now with this fake documents out, it's very likely that Belgium might just cancel that. Now, neighboring Bangladesh, the interim government and chief advisor Muhammad Yunus has given out a clarion call asking for people to stay calm and not fall for rumors. He says all is well in Bangladesh, and this comes just at the eve of Eid. Bangladesh Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus seeking to set the record straight, urging calm and clarity, and says that there's a lot of misinformation that's doing the rounds. Do not fall for it. He says this is especially ahead of elections that's happening, so all the falsehoods that's being spread about a possible coup and whatnot is all lies, and it all is under control. He says the interim government basically at this point says that there are some enemies of Bangladesh who are trying to instigate and create tensions. Remember, Bangladesh currently, the interim government itself is battling a wave of misinformation. Many fact-checking, flagging off thousands of videos and false claims, mostly that of communal in nature, causing tensions and more communal friction within the country. So Yunus has come out and spoken at length, urging citizens to stay alert and not fall for these rumors. He's also promised to clean up over 6,000 politically motivated cases from the past regime, saying that all of them will be withdrawn and anti-corruption efforts will be stepped up to boost economic progress. Remember, Bangladesh has basically approached India. This is what we hear, unofficial reports. Again, a confirmation is needed, but they have approached our Indian administration to have a meeting with Prime Minister Modi to arrange one between Yunus and Modi, but that confirmation is yet to come in. India hasn't yet agreed. Now, finally, it seems like US has played the peacemaker between Russia and Ukraine. In the latest we hear, there seems to be some level of truce between the two countries in this ongoing war, a pause on attacks on energy sites and in Black Sea. As part of the deal, Washington will push to ease some sanctions on Moscow as well. So it seems like things are slightly calming. Let's have a look.
The United States reached deals on Tuesday with Ukraine and Russia to pause attacks in the Black Sea and against energy facilities. The U.S. agreement with Russia goes further than the deal with Ukraine, as the Trump administration agreed to help seek the lifting of international sanctions on Russia, something Vladimir Putin has long sought. The separate agreements are the first formal commitments by the warring side since the inauguration of Donald Trump.
We are making a lot of progress.
Trump is pushing for an end to the war and also a reconciliation with Moscow that has alarmed Kyiv and European countries.
We're in deep discussions with Russia and Ukraine, and I would say it's going well, but it's a situation we should have never had to even think about. Should have never happened.
The Kremlin said the Black Sea agreements would not come into effect unless links between some Russian banks and the international financial system were restored. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said this was untrue and that there was no requirement of sanctions relief for the deals to come into force. But Trump told reporters his team was considering the conditions Moscow laid out.
They will be looking at them, and we're thinking about all of them right now. There are about 5 or 6 conditions. We're looking at all of them.
Kyiv and Moscow both said they would rely on Washington to enforce the deals, while expressing skepticism that the other side would abide by them. Here's Zelensky.
I believe that there are a million questions. I honestly believe so myself. There will be millions of questions and details. But as of today, it sounds like this. Every side, Ukraine and Russia, doesn't use weapons against the energy system of the other side.
And here's what Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov had to say.
We will need clear guarantees. And there may be guarantees taking into account the sad experience of agreements with Kyiv. Guarantees may be only the result of a direct order from Washington to Zelensky and his team to do this and not any other way.
Zelensky said the truce agreements would take effect immediately and that if Russia violated them, he would ask Trump to impose additional sanctions on Moscow and provide more weapons for Ukraine. The Kremlin said the pause in attacks on energy would last for 30 days from March 18th, when Putin first discussed it with Trump. Ukraine had said last week that it would accept such a pause only after a formal agreement.